She was one of nature's most powerful predators, fast, focused, and fearless. But today, none of that mattered, because right now, this eagle was drowning. Swept suddenly into the raging river by a freak wave, she fought desperately to lift herself out. But her soaked feathers were dragging her down, and her movements slowed with each frantic beat of her wings. Watching from a raft nearby, Emmett Blois, a seasoned river guide who'd spent years tackling these turbulent waters, felt his heart stop. He'd rescued plenty of people from danger, but never an animal like this. It wasn't exactly part of the job description. But when you spend your life on the water, you learn to expect the unexpected. Which made sense, because the river he called home was anything but predictable. In fact, the Shubenacadie River in Nova Scotia is famous for its tidal bore, a rare, natural phenomenon where ocean tides push upriver with such force the water flows backwards. One minute, it's calm. The next, it's churning like a washing machine. It's the kind of river that commands respect, and Emmett Blois knew it better than most. He wasn't just some weekend paddler. Emmett had been guiding rafting tours on this river for years. He knew every bend, every current, every little trick the water could pull. He'd seen tourists get tossed, paddles go flying, rafts flip over. But today, he was in for a surprise. It was supposed to be a normal day. A group of adventure seekers, some adrenaline, a few good splashes, and maybe a bald eagle sighting, if they were lucky. And they did see eagles. A whole group of them, actually, soaring above the trees, circling like shadows in the sky. It was a magical moment. But there was one eagle who didn't fly away. She stayed perched on a low branch near the bank, wings tucked in tight. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she hesitated for just a second too long. Then, wham! A rogue wave, sudden and violent, smacked her clean off the branch and into the river. And just like that, the moment turned. The boat fell silent. Paddles paused mid-air. All eyes locked on the struggling bird now being dragged downstream by the surge. The eagle thrashed in the water, wings flailing, head barely above the surface. For a bird built to rule the skies, she looked heartbreakingly out of place, vulnerable, disoriented, and losing steam fast. "She's gonna drown," someone muttered behind him, and Emmett felt it in his gut, that helpless pit of your stomach feeling when you know you're watching something slip away. But not today. Not on his watch. He steered the raft closer, rushing over while also being careful not to spook her. Because even now, the eagle was dangerous, a wild animal in survival mode. One swipe of those talons could easily rip open a forearm. But Emmett didn't care, and when they pulled up beside her, he immediately reached over the edge and wrapped his arms around her body. And to his surprise, the eagle didn't fight. No screech, no snap, just this heavy, trembling stillness, as if she had used all her energy just trying to stay afloat and now had nothing left. Her feathers were soaked, her wings limp, and underneath it all, her heart was racing. "I had my hand on her chest," Emmett would later say. Her heart was just pounding. He cradled her like you'd cradle a scared dog or an injured child, not tightly, but close enough so she felt safe. And for the rest of the ride back, she stayed in his lap. She was calmer now, still wet and exhausted, but watching Emmett closely. And he couldn't stop watching her back. "The most beautiful eyes you've ever seen," he'd say later. Not in some poetic way. He meant it literally. Sharp, amber, unblinking. She just stayed there, tucked into Emmett's lap like she'd decided, for now, this was the safest place to be. Her breathing slowed. That frantic energy she had in the water was gone. She wasn't relaxed exactly, but she wasn't scared anymore either. Like she was taking everything in and deciding, moment by moment, that maybe she was okay. Emmett had seen fear before. He'd pulled people from rapids, helped shaken up tourists back into rafts. But this wasn't fear. This wasn't survival mode. This felt different. Not trust exactly, but something close. And Emmett couldn't look away. Even when they reached shore, he didn't rush to pass her off. He just sat there for a moment longer, hands still around her, eyes still locked, like he needed a few extra seconds to catch up with what had just happened. But she needed real help now, and thankfully, the team at Hope for Wildlife was ready. They met them at shore and took over. And even though they had handled many eagles before, they still paused for a second to take it all in. It's not every day someone shows up carrying a full-grown eagle like a soaked house cat. Back at their clinic, an x-ray showed some ligament damage. Nothing major, but enough to keep her grounded for a bit. She needed rest, recovery, and a quiet space. And food! She didn't waste any time on the fish, Emmett said later, gone in seconds. That was a good sign. A hungry animal is a fighting animal. And over the next few weeks, she got stronger and steadier. Emmett stopped by to check in when he could. He didn't need to, but he did anyway. And when it was time to let her go, he was there. There was no crowd, no big release event, just a gate opening and a bird who was ready. And she was ready. She took off like she'd never missed a step, straight into the air, and Emmett watched her until she disappeared over the trees. "She's good now," he said. That was it. Nothing dramatic, just a guy who helped when he saw the chance to help. And maybe that's the whole story. Not some heroic rescue, not some life-changing moment, just someone doing the right thing because it felt like the right thing to do. 1 second, one decision, and a life is changed. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe as we'll be releasing many more incredible animal stories.